So, am I on? Hello? Hello? Hello, hello? Hello, hello? I'm just testing the microphone to see if the microphone is picking up my sound, my voice, me, my thing, my sound, my voice. Okay. Testing the microphone to see. No, of course it's not like that. Okay. Let's talk about breath, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about inhale and the exhale and the whatever, blah, blah. Let's talk about breath. Let's talk about fun. Okay, look, hi, good morning, Kayteezee. It is someday, January 18, local time 11:58 a.m. I'm coming to you with an active COVID infection, so I kind of feel shitty. And also, I've been in a very fascinating debate on some of the onlines, which I feel could use just a little bit of like, let's just talk about it, okay? So the concept I would like to bring forward, and I have spoken to this before, like way at the beginning of the pandemic. I think I'm very clever for this phrase. I'm probably not the only person who has thought of it. The term I'm using is breath bonding. And so I'm basing that on the AIDS crisis of the 1980s and some of the lessons that I learned witnessing what I saw. So for those of you who were not around in the 1980s, it was a really fucking terrifying time. My family being so connected to the arts and my parents being so gay, of course, I just got to see a lot of suffering and grief. And I remember very clearly in high school, so I was probably about 14 or 15, the conversation about condoms and protection against transmission, like using a barrier. I remember that conversation occurring, and I remember learning the phrase to be fluid bonded. And then like life happened, and I end up the kinky Katie that I am, and I'm educating and whatnot. And then it comes up again, this concept of being fluid bonded. And it's a really important concept. Because what it says is that my blood, my saliva, my excretions, and your blood, your saliva, your excretions, we have melted them together. We've brought them together. And this is an act of intimacy, and it can also be a dangerous act depending on the risk involved. Like, is somebody carrying HIV and they don't know it? If somebody is carrying gonorrhea and they don't know it? If I'm carrying syphilis and I don't know it? Like, there's so many things that can be mitigated risk-wise with the simple use of a barrier. The simple use of a barrier. Dental dam, female condom, condom, gloves, all this stuff. And I see mask wearing as a barrier. because that's what it is, right? It doesn't stop everything from being potentially consequential, but it does minimize, it inhibits the risk that is now very much present if we are breathing the same air. And so I'm pretty confident that I managed this infection through lazy mask use, honestly, and possibly, I'm trying to recall if I actually went, there's this one cafe I go to for food occasionally in the morning because it's very not crowded, but I do take my mask off to eat and drink. Clearly, I'm not getting back in a restaurant anytime soon. But why are we not wearing masks? Why are we, sex positive people, we leftists, we abolitionists, we allies, if you call yourself an ally, why aren't you wearing a mask? I mean, so, and then this other thing, and I think there's another parallel between condoms and masks, in that condoms have now become, in a lot of circles that I see, it's, you know, well, I don't have to worry about getting pregnant, so I don't need to worry about protection. And it's almost like, I don't need to worry about a mask, or I don't need to worry about things because it's not going to kill me. Like, that's the only concern. Is if you can't get pregnant, then you don't mind. Okay, so but there are other things that can occur, of course, through coitus. And death is not now the biggest risk with COVID, because apparently people have made their decisions. The risk now is permanent disability. Disability, losing your ability to do things like take that hike that you enjoy, or have a clear thought, have a working nervous system. There are like massively consequential, negative, lifelong implications to contracting COVID that are not just about living and dying. And the implications are present regardless of immune status. So now I'm like, well, my immune status is my business, but sharing air is not something I'm willing to do, especially with people who call themselves whatever and are not demonstrating and showing that as it is. And so the whatever in that, I know, what does that mean? Remember, I'm not feeling great. Okay, so I put on the socials, one of the socials yesterday, a couple days ago. It was really interesting. I'm getting all of these, this is on the TikTok. I'm getting all of these like, well, why do you even bother getting vaccinated? Because you can still transmit it. Why do you even bother? Why do you even why do I bother brushing my teeth? I could still get a cavity. Why do I bother putting on the fucking lock on my door? Somebody could still try to break it down. Are you flipping kidding me? And so with the masks, my lovely friends who consider yourselves to be sex positive, abolitionist, leftist, progressives, we see you. Your disabled friends and family and community members who have been rejected from your spaces because of your choice not to wear a fucking mask. We see you. We do. We've been hearing you for years now, just casually saying it's okay if you die. It's okay. It's only the old, it's only the this, it's only the that. And with every COVID infection you get, you move into my camp, or you just get closer. Stop with the breath bonding. If you're like one of the conversations I was in yesterday was this person saying how much like, this is just about me taking care of me, and you deal with you, and me and me, and you and you. And that is very much the rhetoric I hear in the wellness space, not universally, not from everybody, I'm speaking generally, that, you know, well, my immune system is strong enough. Well, I'm doing this. Well, I drink my thing. Well, I do my cold dip. So blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's nice. What about all the people that you're assisting in the wellness space? Wellness. Well, who goes to wellness people? Please just, you know, be your own independent self, but understand that I really do believe at this point, if you are speaking words about community, about health, and about wellness, and you are not also speaking words about inhibiting the spread of communicable disease, there's a disconnect between in your, or just a lack of knowing in your knowledge base. I think you're just lacking some information, like on like public health and communicable disease. So please talk to the gays, talk to the queers, talk to the kinky people, talk to the non-monogamous. We've all been in these conversations for decades. And we would very much, I at least, I guess I can't speak for everyone. I would very much like to be in my community. And obviously I can't, because even wearing a mask with 6 vaccines and like fucking not dating, I've had like 3 friends over in the past 3 years, one of whom I did not wear masks with. Jennifer, we are not counting Jennifer. That was at the very beginning of the pandemic. Everybody who comes into my apartment has to wear a mask, every fucking person. If we're eating together, one person's here and one person's on the other side of the room. Why? Because I understand the potential dangers of sharing air. And I guess that makes me an asshole. And I guess it makes me like super like set in my ways or whatever. I just couldn't live with myself if I got somebody else dead. So just advocating, just put them back on, put the mask back on. It's not a big deal. If it's a big deal, let's have a conversation about why you think it's a big deal. Because I don't. I would really like to understand why it matters so much to have a naked face if that choice could kill me or somebody else you love. Please, please help me understand. Help me understand. I want to understand. Goodbye.